Hi everyone, welcome back for Roxy's Journal of Stitchery Volume 6 and Episode 9 I think. I've been just getting some colour on some of these doilies that I got from the op shop. It's acrylic paint that I've mixed up just like I did with the cover for the leaf. I mixed sort of a strongish tub of acrylic paint and dipped them in, and I kind of tried to dip them so that they didn't get full coverage, so it was a bit variegated. So I've been having a bit of fun with that. Like I said, I've been doing a bit of behind the scenes stuff. So there, those, and one of these, I ended up with two of these. One completely from different shops. I think I even got one in Tasmania. So I don't know how I managed to end up with two and thinking I just had one. I've cut, this is a big circle, so I've cut out the centre. I don't know that it sort of seemed to die with a line, this bit, so I don't know. I think maybe I might add some orange to that. Anyway, just put that over there aside. Another thing, take my envelope out. I got this in the mail, cute little card, and it's from Linens and More, one of a kind vintage finds off, I'm pretty sure it was off Etsy. So Therese sent these and they're just absolutely gorgeous. Love that little card. And what I've been doing is, look how fine they are. Let me just show you them, because look how gorgeous. Good. Oh, have a drink of water. These little flowers. There's a round one and there's a square one. And there's some little fine crocheted bits. Oh, they're just delightful. Really sweet. That's like a little tulip. So I wanted to add a couple of bits of these. There's another one with a little, it's not a flower, it looks like a flower. No, it's not. Oh yes, it is. It's just all been squishied. Squishied. Aren't they beautiful? They're just so sweet. And they're antique. So I've added down here on my blooms page one that looks like a little bloom, and I'm just adding a butterfly. Oh, put that over there. Hope everyone's well. I'm getting there slowly. So what I've been doing with these ones is just using those little holes that are on the edge and just going in and out to secure it. I've done a little bit more work since the last video. I'm still really haven't quite finished this bloom, but that's okay. We can't always be in perfect timing. It has been a very busy week, not just being sick, but helping Lily move into her flat. So I lent her my car so she could just take, I had some stuff here. I mean, most of the stuff had been in storage, and I helped by saying, look, just take my car. Nora's away this week. She's in Cairns. I've got a little bit of pet sitting. I'll ask Nora if she minds if I just use her car just to drive to the pet sitting and back. And take my car so you can get a couple of the things that are at my house to take over there. So she started her new job, and she starts her contract on Monday officially. She's just been doing a bit of casual work first. But I'll tell you what, moving into a flat with double the amount of stuff that fits in the flat, I don't know how that happened, but that's how it happened. There's boxes everywhere. and I was sick as a dog helping her unpack, so I got maybe half the kitchen done while she was trying to do things like try and set the lounge up, you know, working out when you've got limited space, the best way you can put your furniture so as it fits into the space. Yeah, so it turned out we think her sofa's sort of like a 2.5 seater, and it's really just, you know, it's one of those tiny lounges next to a tiny kitchen with one bedroom and the toilet, bathroom off the bedroom. That's sort of a classic 1-bedroom unit in Melbourne. It's probably the same everywhere. 1-bedroom unit where the bathroom actually goes off the bedroom like a little ensuite. And if you have visitors, they just basically have to walk through your bedroom if they want to go to the toilet. But yeah, her sofa's probably more like a 2.5 seater, and we just realised she wanted to have it sort of in the walkway facing into the lounge to define the space, but when you did that, it made the lounge so small that it just was it's the wrong thing for the space. And she's got 2 bookshelves, and I said to her, you should put the sofa against the wall so as it opens out the room into, you know, the kitchen area with nothing in the way, nothing in there. But she just said it felt all wrong. So I thought, no, it's her place. She decide how she does it, what she's doing with it, and how she wants to set it up, because it's got to feel right if you're going to live in it. But she went to work, and of course it's a new boss and a new person, and she can be, let me have a sip of water. Oh, sorry about that. She can be a little bit volatile. And turns out it's one of those bosses that talks at her all day. At her, not with her. Oh, sorry, might edit out my coughs. Yeah, so by halfway through the day, she's so exhausted from this woman that she went home. She was starving. It takes her an hour and a bit to drive, because she's still got my car, an hour and a bit to drive there and back. An hour and a bit there and an hour and a bit back. So that's also exhausting. She's just moved. She hasn't sorted out her apartment, so she's a bit of a mess. This cough, sorry. Okay, butterfly. Oh, anyway, she gets home after an hour and a half of driving. She's exhausted from this woman talking at her all day. She hasn't eaten. She's starving. She's on a very strict budget now, because place costs so much to rent in Melbourne, and she's sort of had, you know, no work for a month or so. I tell you what, I just don't envy the younger people of today. It's just actually quite difficult. So she gets home, she decides to go and get something very cheap to eat. She drives there so she doesn't have to pay like Uber, you know, because she can't find anything to cook in the kitchen, of course. And I'm doing my best to help her. But she gets there, she gets back home, she gets back into the house and realises she's locked my key in the car. And I only have one key. And so there you go. It's all happening then. The big meltdown. Sorry, Lily, I love you, but you do have meltdowns a bit. Just thinking. I've been thinking about this flower. I'm thinking about whether to put some colour in the butterfly. Maybe little French knots in here. Or just leave it and allow it to be its beautiful self, because I can't decide about that. I'm just thinking this is one of my favourite spring sort of colours. So yeah, so I get the phone call. There's the complete meltdown, tears, which actually really stresses me. I mean, you're a grown-up now. I know she'd be the first one to say, I'm a grown-up now. What the hell? What am I doing? I'll do these like that. Now I need a needle with a bigger eye. See if I can get the 6 strands into this. This is a Shishiko needle that I got off Alison and Shugo when I did the Shuji, I think, at Green Door Studio. I'm just going to try and follow round because we're doing spring blooms. Follow it round, basically locking the key. Basically locking the key in the car was the last straw. That prompted a big meltdown. And I couldn't do anything. It's late at night. I'd done my cat feeding, which I've got 2 different houses I'm going to at the moment, and that's usually 7 a.m, round about 7:30 a.m. Of course, the more houses, I've got the extra drive in between. So when it's just one, I can just drive to one and come home, especially if it's close. But with the second one, I've got the extra drive from one to the other in between, so it's more like an hour rather than half an hour or so. So I was not 100% able to deal with it myself because I'm tired. I've been sick. This is nice. I like this. Pretty. I said let's deal with it in the morning because I know even though I'm sick, sometimes when you're sick, you actually just go into a deep sleep. But I've never been since I had kids, I've never been a deep sleeper ever. Maybe before I had kids, but ever since, my sleeping patterns are very erratic. I just call myself an insomniac because I can be awake from midnight till 5 a.m. and I just lie there and stare at the ceiling. So instead of lying there and staring at the ceiling between midnight and 5 a.m, oh, that's pretty. Oh, I don't know if I want to do any more and change that. I just usually watch my YouTubes at that time in the morning, or 2 till 5. It's the weirdest thing. It is really the weirdest thing. What if I do a different colour in the centre? That's a good idea. Yeah, I could not deal with it. I couldn't deal with her being a basket case when I'm so sick. So this morning I woke up. I still didn't have that great a sleep. It's cyclical, my sleeping. It goes in different cycles depending. And often if I have pretty poor sleep for maybe 2 or 3 days, then I'll have one really good, almost catch-up sleep. And I don't know why it is. I'm just turned 63. Nora's 55. And she says, I've just got to get up all night to pee. And we just can't work out what it is. It must be just something about getting older. And we think maybe you need less sleep when you get older. I don't know. Anyway, it's annoying. I think it's annoying. Because, it'd be all nice and easy if you could just go to sleep, wake up, go to sleep a good time, sleep like a log, wake up at 7 a.m. A good night's sleep. Is that normal? I've been doing this stupid sleep pattern. I've tried everything, mind you, for so long that I've just given up. I've just gone, that's my normal life. That's normal for me. Anyway, poor Lily. So I've rung, I don't know about other places in the world, but in Australia, in Victoria, we have RACV, which is Royal Automobile Club of Victoria, and RACQ is Royal Automobile Club of Queensland, etc., around the country. I've been a member for ages because I had a car that used to break down a lot, and I just didn't like risking being caught out somewhere in the middle of somewhere with a broken down car and not being able to afford to pay for it. It's a terrible story. Anyway, my RACV worked last week because Nora lives at the house with me when her car with battery was flat. I've been a member so long, and I've got top level that Nora I could call them out on my account for Nora, and she could get a new battery via my account. Like, she paid for the battery, but she didn't have to pay much for the call out or anything like that. So it turned out, because it's my car that Lily's locked it in, they were happy to go and unlock the car and get the key this morning. And I thought, oh no, I'm going to have to Uber. It's a $60 Uber to get to her house, between, $55 and $60, depending on the time of day. Quite expensive. So I was glad that they said they would go out there and, it's a ratty end, without me having to be out there, because this way Lily can do a few things, unpacking and sorting. She did end up already taking a day off today, first day off, but she's a casual at the moment, so that gives her 3 days to get the rest of the apartment in order. So that's not too bad, is it? It's always been like that. It's just always been like this. The mega drama, and then 5 minutes later she sorted it all out. Meanwhile, Mum's having a conniption, trying to work out how to fix it. Anyway, so the RACV's just gone there now, I think. They've just arrived. And of course, she's woken up and she said, oh, I worked out how to do the lounge. I've just got to, if I can get that bookshelf over there, then I can start putting books on, which means emptying some boxes, which frees up floor space. And so she's off on a roll now. Meanwhile, Mum's over here having a meltdown about how to fix up her life. It's not my job anymore. My goodness. Oh. Drama City. Oh, can I do a bit more? Let's see. I'm liking this page. It's a bit of a sort of, I have diversified a bit from my original idea. This is very much more like a thread paint page in the middle of what I was thinking was going to be a very technical field notes kind of journal. Let's have a look. Just give my hand a rest. It's tingling. These are a bit like magnolias. See, that flower is completely different than this idea here, where if you look at this here, it actually reminds me of a chestnut flower, but I'm thinking these remind me of magnolias, so I'm thinking of making it like a magnolia. I guess it could be a bit of a frilly peony, maybe. But I'm going to use the yellows and the pinks through here. I've done the little part that holds this. And I want to use something, maybe a bit of material or something on the branch here. That looks like a leaf. And I've put this up here, so I don't think I'll do much with this leaf up here. I'm just going to leave that. That's a stamp with a rose bush, so I might even just leave that. I don't think I want to enhance it. I was using the Vintage Photo Distress ink, and I just felt it went so well with the colours. Like you wouldn't know that wasn't part of the original design. Anyway, what else have I done? So I've added a bit of this yellow dyed stuff. I've added a little bit of this, which is the same type, but the undyed, the raw one here, because I felt this was sort of a funny edging. Did I mention I did the leaf and spring? Yeah, I think I did. I'm still delirious, I think. And I finished my field notes title page. So I've just done a little bit of this stitching, the words. I was thinking also, I did some stamping on one of these bits where I was doing the practice colours to work out what colour to put for the leaf and the front and back book hardcover. And I just decided to stitch around one of them. It's like a ginkgo leaf. I don't think I needed to do it, but I did it. One thing I was thinking that I really liked, keeping it, see it's gone from thinking of this really very classic look to this scrappy, more improvised. Improvisation is something I resonate with Ariane Zurcher a lot, with the concept of your improvisational stitching, where you don't prescribe. I felt this was very prescribed, and this is more what works for me. And I was having a chat to Ariane. I went to the VCA in Melbourne, which is the College of the Arts, a very long time ago, and I wasn't doing improvisational stitching or art or textiles. I did music, and I studied jazz and improvisation. So one of my core, I don't know what the word is, who I am is someone who loves that concept of improvising. It's an exploration of what comes out from your creativity. Speaking of which, I just have to make a comment, because this has been a very topical subject of the Olympics, and our Australian dancer, what's it called? Not rap dancing, the sort of hip hop type of dance form. And there has been a lot of varying degrees of whether or not that poor girl should have been in the Olympics. Reagan, anyway, that's her name, her stage name. Did I say I thought this looks like cells? I'm all over the place. I'm sorry. That's the way my brain works. It segues, goes over there, goes over there. But talking about improvisational things, Reagan said her whole concept was about listening to the body and moving accordingly. So in terms of what she was doing was improvisational dance. However, most of the world thought that what she was doing was not in the category of what it was meant to be. So she got zeros across the board. But it's been a very interesting, I've seen quite a few different comments from Australians saying they were so embarrassed about it. I really support her as an improvisational artist. I also was embarrassed. It's been very topical. So I kind of like the discussion about improvisation because I know I've studied it, but in a musical sense, not a dance or an art sense. Anyway, getting off on quite the rant. So it's just interesting. I've started wanting to be very streamlined, very classical, but I've ended up moving more to the improvisational form because that's what works for me. If you haven't seen, Ariane's been, she's Ariane Zurcher, that's the YouTube channel. She has, she's over around Oslo and she goes through the art gallery, and so it's been great. She's been posting a bit of the artworks and the some artists that I really love. And I've been able to have a conversation with her about Max Ernst sculptures, which I love Max Ernst. Kara Walker with the, it wasn't Kara Walker. Kara Walker is a Black American artist that does a lot of silhouette work, which I love, but it turned out it wasn't her work that was in the footage that Ariane's got. Anyway, I'm just thinking out loud a little bit about how a lot of us with these kind of projects can end up having, the difference is what our improvisational style might be. And some have very, very, all the way through, very much this, which is a beauty in itself. And then there are others that have pages like this. I don't know, maybe make a comment, say what you prefer, or whether you like a mixture of both, or I don't know. I'm just having a rant because I haven't had much sleep and I'm sick and I'm just a bit like, oh, I've got a few minutes to grab and do some stitching. Okay. All right, rant over. Back to stitching. So a part of the reason also, so it's very interesting that, I don't know if I've mentioned this, Lily has moved to a place called Elwood, which is down by the beach. And it's just a lovely, lovely area. It's just fabulous. When I went over, when I got back in the car after helping unpack her kitchen, I borrowed Nora's car and taken it down there. It's just amazing how the place we live can inform how we feel. I live quite close to the airport. It's a fairly dense suburb of lots of multicultural, which I absolutely love. Very multicultural. But it's quite, I don't know, it's quite a, you don't notice where you live, how it is, until you go somewhere else and you go, oh, I have a comparison. It's not just going off and going on, a holiday somewhere, or it's a comparison of what it would be like to live somewhere like where you're visiting. Well, the interesting thing is that before my girls were born and I got together with their dad, was that we lived in Elwood. And just going and driving around those streets reminded me, 30 years ago, mind you, of how I moved there the same age that Lily is now, and how beautiful and freeing it is to actually live near the beach with the lightness of the waves and the sea air and a lot of that sort of stuff. And it's just bringing, you know, I just got this different picture of my life. It's an interesting thing that's going on. How where we choose to live can inform a lot of the choices we make. So it's a long way to go. It's obviously too far by Uber. It's a bit of a pain to go in terms of driving because it's further and it's freeway, and you know, if you want to make it shorter, you go on the toll road and it can be like, I don't know, $11 or something to get there. So it's not a small endeavour. You can go around the other way and do it so you don't end up having to pay so much. Yeah, I'm just having a bit of a, I don't know, I think it's also the same for Lily, you know. This is the first time when she's in Melbourne, she's chosen to live a bit further away from family, and she's paying more rent than she's ever paid, so the pressures are a bit higher. I mean, I've been buying a bit of food here and there to help her out. I think I might put in the middle between those maybe a lighter pale kind of pink. That's not pale pink. Is that too candy? I think. Well, that's one of my favourites. Oh, that'll go nice. I think I'm going to have to, some of these are getting a bit low. I'm going to have to replenish the stocks. I like that. This one's got a bit of a sheen. This one's got a bit of a sheen to it. Right. Now, is that going to be too long? Let me see. Maybe I'll cut this and do it in 2 halves. Okay, so I've started to put a lighter colour in here. I just thought it was good to delineate the difference between the outer petals and the inner sort of bud. I might need to either stop and have a rest because talking is making me cough and I'm still sneezing every 5 minutes. I'll just finish these. I just need a half a day to just maybe have a think about whether I want to fill in that butterfly or leave it as just beautiful lace. Spring blooms. I think what I'd like to do is have another colour for this little tiny flower. It's like a flower that's just floating around on the breeze. And then I've got to decide on this. I still think of it as a magnolia. There are quite a few different types of magnolias. Some are even edible, but I love them. They're beautiful flowers. Some are huge as well. Let's see if I can manage. Don't know if I'll manage. Oh, one more. Oh, that looks uneven. Oh dear. Just one more. Oh, nearly lost it. Oh, I need one more. Did I lose it? Yeah, I did. When you've got that much left and you just want to do one more. Drats. All right, don't be stingy, Christina. Oh, I should make a comment about my name, but I probably should do it at the start. I got lots of new subscribers and some older, and I'm pretty sure it's quite obvious that my name is Christina Creates, not Christine. But even people have known me for a while. Even my neighbour will call me Christine, not Christina. And it's like, is it that hard? No, it's not. But people just misread. That's okay, because sometimes people misread, and I understand that. And obviously there are a few of us YouTubers, Christine and Christinas, so it gets a bit confusing. But I don't know. I've always had a bit of a thing about that. I guess Christines probably would have a thing about being called Christina. But what I was going to say was my neighbour at number 1, no matter how many times I've said it's Christina, she'll still call me Christine. You start to think they're doing it on purpose, don't you? Just, I don't get super upset about it, but I do think, it's just polite. We always get everyone else's name. All us Christinas get everyone else's name right. Unless they've had multiple name changes. Okay. Anyway, that's just a little bugbear that I'm having at the moment. I have got no idea how long this video is. I just want to do this. I want to do this one. And then maybe I'll stop and I'll sort out what's going on with my car and Lily. What about that? So if I'm adding this sort of orangey colour, which I love, and I've got the pinks. Now this makes me think of spring blooms. This might make me think of a nice spring to summer flower, but I was quite aware that this reminds me more of summer than spring because it's a bit hotter, like the brightness of the yellow is a bit hotter. So I don't know. Well, I guess spring does go into summer, so we could be starting to hint at the next prompt. I'm just going to see. I might just do an outline and see what I think. Or the next prompts, I should say. All right, now, is that what I want to do? Possibly I don't mind that it's just more like an outline than a thread painted. I did imagine I might end up with the fleur. If I kept thread painting the entire surface, I could end up with the Fleurwood style. And I really think then I'm really getting off my own path. Oh, I just thought, you know what I'm going to do? I like the idea of this dark outline and then a lighter thread in the middle. That's what I'm doing. Got it sorted. And then maybe even a couple of French knots in the middle that are a bit like a dark red or something. It's reminding me there's a particular daisy that has actually quite a dark centre with lighter outsides. possibly more a summer thing. Maybe already getting into the prompt ahead of time. The summer prompts. Okay, there's no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing right now. It's kind of backstitch, but occasionally it's stem stitch. So I've said in the past videos, do as I say, not what I do. See this having pale lemon petals and a dark centre. Okay. I'm glad she put in a butterfly. That's really lovely. Can you believe, after all that rambling earlier, what the Olympics thing was breakdancing. I couldn't think of it before. I was just going hip hop. I mean, I just have no idea how my brain works sometimes. Breakdancing. I ended up get back on the topic of how the world is viewing that poor girl, because she has got so much backlash on her Instagram and a lot of hate, and she's still a human being, even though maybe it wasn't what everyone expects for Olympic standards. She has come out and made a comment about how much the attention and the hate has been affecting her. And I'm a bit sad about that, because I do understand what she was doing, even though maybe technically it wasn't quite what Olympic officials, or maybe 50% or maybe even 90% of the world wanted her to be doing. It's like, you go girl, you just do what works for you. Beat of your own drum, be unique. And she was. But there's just no place for this. It's just another form of bullying when people are hating on someone who's different. And as someone who quite often feels quite different to a lot of other people in the world, and sometimes wonder what the hell I'm here for, and we all have those moments, I kind of feel that the hate she's been getting is bullying. It's you know, we're in a society and a world where we're supposed to be a bit more, I don't want to say the word woke because that's not the right word, but a bit more conscious of people's difference and how people's difference, let me move these, should be embraced and enjoyed rather than pointed out as being wrong. So I'm feeling a bit for her now in the aftermath. What have I got? Really getting summery with some of these colours. I was thinking lighter, much lighter. All right, one of these. Either that one or this one. Kind of tones in quite nicely, but I just like adding these little bright shiny bits, so maybe that one. Wow, I don't think I've done a video that's this long and rambly for a long time. Anyway, there's no need for bullying, I think, is what I was thinking. Oh, I know. So if anyone's a bit of a either a Marvel fan, and it's not, it's DC. Okay, so if anyone's a little bit of a Luke Cage fan, so Mike Coulter, I follow him on Instagram. So I'm still on the Ray-Ban topic. the hip hop. The hip hop and the break dancing. So when I was studying, or maybe I should start with this, Mike Coulter had shown a little bit of Ray-Ban's performance on his Instagram, and so there had been a lot of comments. I'm no expert about being a Black American, but I'm just going to make my own thoughts and comments about some of the hate, of course, but there were a lot of Black people, and hip-hop or breakdancing is a movement that's come out, of course, from the ghettos of America, predominantly Black Americans, but Hispanic as well, and other cultures, of course. It's no reason that a white person or a Anglo-Saxon cannot be a great breakdancer. But someone had made a comment, and I went, yeah, that really resonates. I don't always comment a lot on stuff like that, but I don't know why, this week I've commented on a few things and I've sent emails. I feel like, I'm becoming that person that goes, I'm just going to have a voice about this. Anyway, someone had made a comment and I went, yeah, I agree with that. And I really love how, oh, sorry. I really love how Mike Coulter has his Instagram open and he really runs it himself. And he has a voice and he'll answer people. He'll have a chat if you put in your opinion about something. But I thought, I'm going to just have a little comment. This is probably not anything that anyone's interested in unless they understand art movements or music movements, but I just thought I was going to have a bit of a comment on there about when I was studying jazz and improvisation and how, as a white person, I constantly had to check myself, and I studied Miles Davis and Sarah Vaughan from an improvisational perspective. Of course, I haven't done it for a long time now. This was back in the late 80s, early 90s that I was studying before I had my kids and decided to stop. You can't do a jazz gig at 2 a.m. in the morning with little babies, basically. That was why I thought, no, that doesn't work for me now. Anyway, I just was having this little conversation with this person that had commented on Mike's post, who was a Black American, about, how when I was studying, I really loved the study and I loved the music, but as a white person, and a white Australian, how do I make it have a little bit of the flavour of Australia, but not lose the, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, that was my one thing that I thought, I'm just going to have a say. I'm going to add my bit. I haven't had a look back at the person that posted that particular comment has replied to me, and I've replied back, and it was very respectful, and quite nice. I don't know who that person was. A lot of Black Americans tend to have a very, or maybe it's a lot of Americans. I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm just saying they have a picture that's of something Winnemucca, a bit like Sarah. Sarah, you've got your Nat's What I Reckon photo that everyone thinks, is that you as a little kid? But it's not. It's funny. Is that maybe the Facebook profile, Sarah? I don't know. Anyway, I don't know who the person was. It was a man, but he had a picture of a woman wielding a gun or something. So it could have been some gun-toting, I don't know. Who knows? Could have been anyone. So I haven't been back to have a look to see if Mike had added a bit, because he does. He sometimes does. And I think that's pretty great. It's fabulous, actually. Why not talk to people in the world? But Mike's married to a white girl and has been since university or high school even. High school sweethearts that are married. And so he is quite up for making commentary about black and white issues. And I have a black partner, so I don't know where this conversation's going. I don't know anymore. I think I've just lost the plot. Just regurgitating what's been going on so many different levels this week. Suffice it to say, I'm enjoying having a little bit of a conversation. I remember so the girl's dad, when we lived in Elwood, it all comes back round again. Oh, the conversation goes round and round. What's going on here? He's a jazz musician. There you are. I got full circle with the whole thrust of the whole conversation. And I remember being in those circles and just sitting and having a rave like this and a chat, which I don't know that we make time for anymore when we're a bit older. Okay, how's my flower looking? I can see there's a line here and the middle circle's sort of here, but I've kind of created a new middle circle. The point I was going to make was that when Tony, the girl's dad, who is a jazz saxophonist, used to have people going to him, oh, wow, man, you're amazing. Oh, you're such a great player. Oh, blah, 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 blah. He used to say to me afterwards, it's just my job. It's just normal. Like, he didn't think there was anything special about it. He would just go, that's just my job. That's what I do. I kind of I don't feel like I'm afraid to make a comment on Mike Coulter's post and have a conversation with him, if you know what I mean. Like, he's just a human being who's just doing a job, and it just happens to be something that people revere, you know, well-known actors or musicians, that they're sort of, you put them on a pedestal, and in actual fact they just go, oh, like, it might be, I mean, Tony used to say, I'm just so lucky I can do something that I absolutely love. And so would actors. Most actors would probably say, I'm just so lucky I can do something I absolutely love and get paid for it. So segueing on from that bit, God, I'm right on it today, would be that during the week, so I love MasterChef. So see, I've just gone on a completely new subject. I love MasterChef, and of course, as anyone who is in Australia would know, the team sort of changed. Is that too much? Oh, maybe. The team changed and there were new people. So that goes with those. That's really, oh, love it. The team changed and Sophia replaced Melissa as the food writer You know, there's always someone. Matt Preston was the food writer, and then Melissa Leong replaced Matt's role. They always have a chef or two and a food writer. 2 chefs and a food writer seems to be kind of the formula for the people who are on MasterChef. Anyway, Melissa left and was replaced by Sophia, who I just love her. I don't know why, I just love her. And it's nice to have 2 women on there. Let's see if this works. And Sophia's dad had been very, very sick with motor neurone, and her interesting. I'm get her newsletter because I love her writing, and I don't know, just like her. And I'm not afraid to say hello because who cares? She's just a person doing their job. So she sent out a newsletter when her father did pass away. It was the same week as Nora's mother passing away, and it was such a beautifully written, you know, it's a newsletter for her travel blog and travel and food blog, and I just immediately thought, I have to respond. I have to reply and just tell her the story of how I felt when my dad passed. And I thought nothing of it. You know, there are people that are sort of well known in the world and they don't want anything to do with you. They're too busy. They're too busy. They don't know you from a bar of soap. But I wrote some beautiful words about understanding what she was going through, because she was talking about grieving and how coming from a very close-knit family that always ate together, and food being the central thing, it's been an interesting thing for her to observe her father slowly being unable to eat. And so the whole concept of the food being something that you know brings you all together, which that's something Zoe at Green Door Studios does beautifully. How hard it was for her to watch her father being unable to eat when food has been such a thing in their, you know, in their culture, in their family. So I did respond, and I thought nothing of it. But I got an email back from her, and her email was, she just said, and I knew at the time I was writing it that it was going to resonate with her and it was what she probably needed. And I knew because like what Nora was going through with her mum passing. But she did respond and said that really resonated with me and I wouldn't normally respond. Fair enough. She doesn't know if it made me from a bar of soap, but it was lovely. It was just a lovely moment where I thought, we don't all have to be strangers. We can connect with people we don't know and offer support. Yeah, I thought that was, it was a kind of a special moment, even though I felt really sad that she was having such a hard time. I don't want to just start this yet because I think it's a big job and I'd rather start it in the next video. I'll be a prompt behind. Okay, look, I think this is it for now. I don't want to get onto a whole new subject and start waffling on and raving on. But it's been great to chat. If you're still here, thanks for listening. I'm going to stop and say I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.